Welcome. My name is Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the lovely town of Brackley, England. All my projects are made using Stampin' Up products. If you'd like to purchase any of the supplies I've used, please find a full list provided with my YouTube videos. Or you can always send me a private message via Facebook. Don't forget to like and follow so you don't miss any future videos. Your support really helps me to create and share more projects. Thank you. So good morning. We have got a funky fold Friday and a lovely funky fold for our Stay Warm stamp set. As you can see, the frog's still in my throat from Wednesday, but hey ho. So it is a it'll stand like that. But to look at it, it would be that way. So you've got all this little lovely bends and bows out here. So we're going to slightly dress it up, and then I'm going to ask you which you prefer, this one or the other one. So let's bring in my supplies. So here we go. So the first thing I've got is Old Olive. Now this measures 5 3/4 by 11 inches. I've then got another piece of card. So it's a contrasting piece. This measures 3 inches by 6. Now both of these we will score in a second. I've then got another piece. This is real red, and this one measures 3 by 3. Oh dear, excuse me. I have a piece of white cardstock which measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, and then I have 3 pieces of white cardstock which all measure 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Now this is where I'm getting a little bit more. We're adding. So these are 2 pieces of the Autumn Toil Designer Series paper, and I've cut them down to 1 1/2 by 5 inches, and that's both sides. Okay, so let's do the scoring first. So let's move those aside. Bring in my scoreboard, which I couldn't see for a second. Right, so bringing my, oh hello, where's my bone folder? There it is. Okay, so the first score is 1 3/4 inches, and you just go all the way down. It's 1 3/4. That's a dirty end there somehow. Okay, that's better. 1 3/4. Then I have a 3 1/2. Then we have a 5 1/4. And 7 inches. So that's 1 3/4, 3 1/2, 5 1/4, 7 inches. All of these measurements will be on my blog later. Got it. So then we got this piece of 3 by 6, and on the long side we're going to cut it. We're going to score it at the 3 inch mark. Okay, so that is all our scoring for the moment. Pop that down there and keep my bone folder. Right, I'm going to pop these aside for a second, and we will start on the brain's gone, stamping. So this is our body of the card, so it's going to go on this part here. So on the bottom right hand corner I'm going to stamp the word Merry Christmas. Now all of my stamping is going to be done in early espresso. Okay, so stamp Merry Christmas down here on the bottom right corner. There we are, that's that one. Then with our 3 squares, we're going to, so the first one is the front piece, so I'm going to stamp a jumper, one of these beautiful jumpers. They sort of remind me of, I don't know, going skiing or that kind of thing, or a really crisp autumn day where it's very cold but the sun is bright and you're just going to put your jumper on. I'm just going to concentrate for a second because, you know, we are stamping here. Right, let's see. Straight down, hold it for a second, and straight up. There we go. So that's that one. Then we've got a second section. So this time we're going to put a sentiment on. Now I've literally, this stamp set does not come with sentiments. So I've gone into my stash and I've grabbed out some sentiments that I found in my stash. So I suggest you use, if you've got things in your stash, that's perfect to use. So this has got a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? This has got a bit more detail in it word-wise. Let's pop this down here. It says, wishing you Christmas cheer and magical moments that last all year. Then I'm going to bring in my bobble hat. And I'm going to pop him onto there. Lovely. Then I've put my 2 gloves on, so they're thumbs twin. And it's just easier to do it this way. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, do it on one block and then stamp them separately should you wish. But for this one, I am just doing that. And then for my last one, which is this one, I'm going to stamp a heart. There we go. So that is all our stamping completed. So let's just move this all out of the way so I don't ruin anything, because that would just be my idea of not a good movie. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is going to colour these in. I have 3 colours. The first one I have got is light crumb cake. The second one I've got is light old olive. And then the third one is dark real red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the, let's do the old olive. Oh, I'm going to colour in the main body of the heart. If you can hear tapping, it's because Bella is on the other side of my door. When I started recording, she decided she wanted to go out. So I opened the door and I let her out. Now she says to me, well, I want to be in with you. So she's a pain in the bum. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is the dark real red. And we're going to go. So as I say, now she's literally on the other side of the door tapping, saying, hello, I'm here. Should just have to wait a second. Okay, and then I've got the light crumb cake, which I'm going to pop through there. Right, I'm going to do all of those colours exactly the same on those 2. So in normal style, I have already done those, but I suspect you guessed that anyway. Right, let's going to put these aside and we're going to do some folding. So the first fold, so it's the fold that's nearest to the larger section, you're going to fold away from yourself and then burnish. The next score line, you are going to bring it towards you and burnish. Then you're going to go away and bring it towards you. So it's that zigzag effect. There we go, look at that. Okay, so you've got 2 peaks and 2 valleys. Okay, so that is our scoring for that piece. So the next thing to do is to stick down our largest piece, which will just go straight into here. And I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal for this, more so because it was there right next to me. And this week the multi-purpose has been really particularly difficult and not coming out. There you go. Right, so that's that one. So the next thing to do is to add our pictures to this, but first we're going to fold it. So we're going to fold it in on itself, and it's going to open rather the opposite way to a book. So instead of it opening with the spine on the left, the spine of this is going to be on the right hand side. Okay, and then I'm going to pop my woolly jumper onto that bit. Let's go 1, 2, 3. So the woolly jumper goes on the front. There we go. Then I'm going to put the hat and gloves on the next section. And then the heart will go on the single piece, like so. And this is where you're going to do your messages. Dear Fred, happy Christmas. Oh, hello. Dear Fred, happy Christmas. Love from, whoops, me. Right, let's pop that down just onto there. Right, so we have those 3 sections. So bringing in the card base, what we're going to do is we're going to close this up and we're going to sandwich all the folds together. You're going to work out where you would like, oh no, stop. I knew I was going far too quickly. We've got our designer series paper. So the previous card, we would have added this on, but I wanted to add the designer series paper on first to see if it made a difference. So I'm going to put the first piece on the panel that is facing us. So let's just, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the first panel is going to go there. I'm going to try and line it up with the white. Please notice I said try. Doesn't always work that way. That's a little bit too. Let's try it. Okay. Might be just a little bit too long. There we go. Right, there we are. That's the first one. Then I'm going to flip that one over and I'm going to put it on this one. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. So you've got the first panel, second panel is blank, third panel, and then the fourth panel is blank. Okay, now we're going to go for this. So we're going to take our jumper and we are going to work out where we would like it to go. So I'm roughly thinking that is perfect. So leaving it in position but opening it up, I'm going to put my Stampin' Seal just 2 rows. 1, 2. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this over and pop it down just like that. Then I'm going to flip it over in same position, bring it over again, and then just put 2 panels of Stampin' Seal. So we've got 1, for some reason I'm doing this cock-handed, 2. There we go. And then you're just going to bring it over and it will hold it in position for you. Okay, so you've sandwiched it like that. So the next thing to do is, having the 2 folds closed and this in position, you're going to place your sentiment face down like so. And then I'm just going to put my glue, holding it in place, bring over the panel and rub it down. And then that, when it's closed, you won't be able to see. And that is today's funky fold. So there we go. What am I thinking? I'm thinking I like the DSP. What's your thoughts? With or without the DSP? Anyway, thank you for joining me this week. Have a lovely weekend. And please put comments in the below. And I'll catch up with you hopefully next week. Take care. Bye.